Hey everyone, welcome to Comic Uno. I have once again usurped Kat from her channel, and I'm taking over for another Like Father, Like Daughter Q&A special. This is for Like Father, Like Daughter number 2, and this is our 4th one, correct me?
Yes, we are on our number 4. I was very surprised by that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was number 4 or 5 because, you know, these are really cool to do, and I lose track of it when I'm really excited about something. So, yeah, so we're here. It's just Kat and I again today. It's like when we did our first one, and Wayne is ill, so he couldn't make it with us, and Rashawn is busy producing work on Like Father, Like Daughter number 2, trying to get it done because the Kickstarter is so close. It's like this much.
Really close. Like, we'll be talking about that pretty much all night, saying, guys, if you haven't supported, support, because we're like this close.
Yeah, you know me. You know I always try to work it back into that.
Yeah, we have
but,
to.
Oh yeah, had to. But you know, so we were going to have a viewer on, but we couldn't do that tonight because we wanted to do it when we had a full panel. So tonight's just going to be Kat and I. We're going to talk about it for a little while. We're going to answer some questions in the comments. So put all your questions in the comments now. If you're new, you know, ask any question. If it was answered before, we'll still answer them. Kat would still answer it. We got some special treats coming out later on. So you know anything about these Q&As, you know that we always throw in bonus additions to it. You know, like what's coming up, maybe some content, some images, stuff like that. So join in, ask us your questions. And while we wait for the questions to come up, I want to ask Kat to tell us a little bit about what Like Father, Like Daughter is for anyone who's just tuning in and they haven't seen anything or, you know, watched any of the videos about Like Father, Like Daughter.
Yeah, I think I've gotten this elevator pitch down pat now. But what it's about a teenage girl named Casey Ryder. And she's your regular high school student, except for the fact that her father left her to become a full-time superhero when she was young. So that means everyone loves him except for her because she knows his true colors. This is not really a spoiler because I kept this from when we were promoting issue 1, but I have to reveal it here. That in issue 1, Casey develops her father's powers. So now she kind of becomes her own worst enemy, and it's kind of figuring out what does she do with these powers. So that is what leads us into issue 2, which is what the Kickstarter is for.
Yeah, and issue 2, well, issue 1 came out about March last year. That's if you funded it. That's when all the goodies start coming out. No, this year. I'm sorry, March this year. Last year, it was still in the planning stages last year. But March this year it came out. I reviewed it for my channel. You can check that out later on. Mike Spicerslayer reviewed on his channel. It has been reviewed on other sites. Comic Island's done a review on it. Cirque Show 24/7 has done a review on it. I believe Jeremy has done a review on it. Like everybody's done a review on it, and people who not only people who know Kat, but people who don't know Kat, and all the reviews have been pretty favorable for it. So, how does that feel, Kat, to know that you know that so many people are reviewing it and that they actually enjoy it?
It's been pretty crazy, you know. It's cool to see like people see stuff in the story that I wasn't really thinking of, but I was like, oh, cool. Like I think it's kind of interesting you took that from the story. Like I didn't think about that when I was writing it, but it definitely could be looked at that way. So it's kind of cool to see other people's perspective of the book, something I wrote. And yeah, see people that enjoy it. It's really cool to see that, and people speculate what's going to happen next, and people are excited to see what happens next. And it's weird to be on the other side, keeping all the secrets from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I know I read it. And honestly, I loved it. It wasn't because you know you're my friend or anything like that. You're welcome. It was just because I honestly enjoyed the book. The book was a really well done story. It was something that you haven't really seen in comic books before, and I just like that. You know, it was so much of what a comic book fan would write, but at the same time, totally original. You know, It wasn't something that we've seen, but it's something that we feel so comfortable with. And sometimes when people do new concepts, it's like, you know, that was a little harsh to read. You know, it's like you're trying too much to not be in the concept of comic books. You're trying too far to go on that edge. I think you walked that edge perfectly when you did that. Because it's something new and unique, but something so relatable to a comic book fan. So you did a great job on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I definitely tried doing that. It's a fine line to walk on, and it's cool to create a new world too. That it's a grounded world of comic books and superheroes.
Also, if you haven't gotten issue number 1, and you know this is the Kickstarter for issue number 2, don't feel intimidated by that, because what actually Showfuse and Cat has done is that for a minimum purchase, a minimum backing of just $5, you get a PDF, which is an online version. You know, you can read it online, version of the comic book, and it's going to be issue number 1 and issue number 2. So for $5, you're getting 2 full colored comic books. This isn't like, you know, you're going to get, you know, a preview of issue number 1 or a recap of number 1. You're getting a full on, I think it's 24 pages, Cat, or was it 22?
24, pretty sure.
24. I'm pretty sure they're 24 pages too. 2 24-page comic books for just $5 backing. That is an awesome incentive right there. I mean, that's not a lot to, you know, it doesn't break your bank, and it also gives you 2 very well done books. So if you haven't backed it and you don't have number 1 and you're concerned about backing number 2 because you don't want to jump into a project that you know nothing about, don't worry. You can get it just for, and it's anything above that too. If you're new to it, anybody who's new to the process, anything above that, you automatically get issue number 1 as a PDF, which is, and I think there's even one tier where you can get it for a real physical copy too.
Yeah, there is. I'm pretty sure it's the $20 one. Pretty sure.
Yeah. If you haven't backed it before, you get the $20. You get the physical copy as well as the the physical copy of number 2 and all that. So all these great incentives, and there are some other great incentives on there for the other tiers. You know, you got shirts, you got put yourself in the comic book, get a 3-page story, you know, all kinds of stuff for you to get reward wise. So go check out the in the comments. There's a link to the Kickstarter. Go check that out. Back it again. $5, we get you 2 books. You know, so that's always a great deal. But yeah. So now, someone who has backed it, they've read issue number 1, okay? They're waiting for issue number 2. What can they expect with issue number 2?
What can they expect with issue number 2? You can expect more Wes, which is really fun. He's a character, if you're a comic book geek, I think you could really relate to him. And you expect more of the high school drama stuff. So if you enjoy the high school stuff as much as I do, I think you'll enjoy this. But you're also unraveling more of Casey's powers, a little bit more of that, and the mystery of Invulnerable. Who is he? What's his motives? I would say you get as much Invulnerable as you did in the first issue, which, you know, is a good amount, but issue 3 and 4, you'll get like full issues of Invulnerable. He'll be more of a main part of the series, but this will be like kind of the last issue where he'll be more on the outskirts of the story.
We have a question from Tevia. He says, what is your opinion on your Kickstarter going so well?
It's great. You know, it's awesome that you guys are there to support me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll meet our goal soon. You know, it's so weird to be so close, and just you can taste it. It's not there just yet. Hopefully more people would like to support the book and give this indie book a try.
All right, you talked about Wes. He's going to be the big character in issue number 2, because this is where he really gets his introduction. Although he does have his first sort of introduction, minor introduction in the first issue. But this is where you get to know him by name and everything like that. So who are the other characters that we're going to see in issue number 2, other than Wes?
That's a good question. We're going to see a new character that is dealing with invulnerable. That's all I'm going to say about this character. He's not like a main character, but he's introduced in the issue, and I don't want to spoil it. So he's there. So he'll be dealing with a vulnerable story. You have Jesse, who we did see in the first issue. You'll learn a little bit more about his personality. If Stephanie was right to give him that bad face to him, so you learn a little bit about him. Yeah, that ill face, exactly. That's the word I was looking for. So you learn to see if that was the right thing. And of course you got Wes, you got Casey. And that's it. That's all I can really reveal. You get to see a little bit more of the teacher that you saw in the first issue, Death of Salesman. I know a lot of people enjoyed that. You get another little quote for Death of Salesman, which I think relates to Like Father, Like Daughter very well. So you can check that out. And yeah, those are all the little tidbits you'll see in the second issue. But yeah, new characters, one dealing with the vulnerable, and all the other characters are pretty much people we've seen but will be expanded upon. And Jessica won't be in the issue. I'll say that. Jessica's not in issue 2.
And for those who are new, Jessica's Kate, so she's not going to be in issue number 2. But let's see. Tevia says, question, what's your opinion on Mara missing the point of marriages in comics, and do you think that your comic is going to do so well to show both Marvel and DC comics that marriages can work in comics?
I don't know.
I guess I'm going, since Invulnerable and Jessica are divorced, I'm going to rephrase this question, and I'm going to ask you, what is your opinion on marriages in your universe? Like, are you going to explore other facets of marriage? Because you got a divorced couple. Are you going to, somewhere down the line, you're going to talk about other types of relationships, whether it be, boyfriend and girlfriend, dating, engagement, marriage? Do you think it's okay to talk about that in a comic book?
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of different types of relationships. Like Jay was saying, Jessica and Invulnerable's relationship is not really a relationship because they're divorced now, so they are not married. But you'll see other characters where their family life is at, or even the teen romances you're going to see also. So yeah, there's definitely different types of romantic relationships, different type of family dynamics, and what it actually means to be a family. Do you have to be blood related? Do you not have to be blood related? It's all explored in this book.
Another thing that I want to say, because like I said, I have read the screenplay by now, so I know how the whole first arc is going to show up. I will say that Kat is doing stuff with relationships that haven't been seen in comic books in a long time, because they're going to be so diverse and things are going to be touched on. Some have never been touched on. Some are, haven't been touched on in like 20 years. So that kind of dynamics, which is really great, because I think it's been missing from comic books. It's not that it's outdated, it's that they decide, we need edgy and cool stuff. So I think this is a refreshing take on relationships that Kat is doing, because we're going to see all different kinds of facets of them, and I really love that about it. And when I read it, I told her, I was like, oh, I love that you're doing this and you're doing that. So it's a great setup for relationships. So if you like all different kinds of relationships, this is going to be a good book for you to read.
Definitely.
Alan Moling says, so being new to the comics scene, I read the first issue of Kat's comic, and it was different, but I enjoyed it, and I can't wait for issue number 2.
Oh, thank you. Let me know your full opinion, like anything you liked or disliked as a new comic book reader. I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, so Alan, put that in the comments, more about, fill that out a little bit more, that comment, tell Kat what you liked, what you didn't like, what you were really excited about for number 2 also, or anything else you want to talk about.
Yeah.
Tevia says, question, is your comic going to deal with dark subject matter? And Kat has touched on this before, that the later issues are, but I'm going to let her finish this. And he says stuff like, murder, rape, stuff like that, like, that you see in more on the indie side of companies, because I think the big two kind of shies away from that stuff a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have a lot of dark storytelling in this book. As of right now, it's a very light world of like father, like daughter for the most part. You know, obviously there's a lot of drama. But yeah, you're going to see a lot of darker situations here too. That's all I'm going to say.
But issue number 2 is going to be a little bit lighthearted.
Yes.
So this is going to be the calm before the storm.
For some reason in my Comic Uno episode, I said the gust before the storm, but I could not think about the calm before the storm. So now it's the gust before the storm.
All right, that's what we're going to go with. It's the gust before the storm. That's what this one is. It's going to be a little bit later issue, but I'm telling you, like I said, I read the full screenplay. Things are going to get deep in this book, and it's going to be very grounded and very well done. I mean, it's going to make you say, "Oh shit." That's how great. It's going to be one of those moments where you close the book and be like, wow, I just read that. What did she do? You know? So, Debbie has another question. Actually, I'm going to rephrase this a little bit because I think it's a little bit narrow to just ask about abductions. Is your comic going to deal with aliens at all?
Not space aliens. That's what I'm going to say.
All right. Another thing, let's see. We have some great rewards out there. And one of them is we're going to get some pinups and stuff like that. And if you like the little chibis that are shown in the Kickstarter, they're expanding. And they're going to expand to include a lot of different characters from the series. And, you know, that were created because of the last Kickstarter, Comic Uno. And we're not only going to get the chibis of them, but we're going to get them in a Comic Duo, sorry, not Comic Uno, your Comic Uno. With Luke, she is Comic Duo. So that's a little thing that's going to be a part of it. Can you explain to us how Comic Duo is going to be fitting into your universe?
Yeah, a webcomic that's coming up soonish. I don't know when. I wrote it already, so it's there. And it was actually based on one of our backers from last time who wanted a story about Comic Duo. They requested it, so that's why we have the Comic Duo story. So if you want to request a story for like Father Like Daughter like that, and if you back up a certain amount of money, you can get that also. So just want to put that out there. But yeah, the Comic Duo story is connected to Wes a bit. And just think Comic Duo as like news reporters, but news reporters of the Like Father Like Daughter universe. So they report on superheroes, and it's a lot of fun. And like I said, it's more connected to Wes's story, and you see Wes geek out a bit about the newscasts, and it's kind of like, you know, you could also speculate about, oh, what are Comic Duo going to say next about Invulnerable in the superhero world. So it was a lot of fun to write. It was something different. I really couldn't wrap my head around like how to write it, because it's also like, oh, I'm writing myself, kinda. So I didn't really know what to write. And then I kind of figured it out along the way, but it was pretty hard to write it.
So you got Comic Duo. Was there anything else from the latest Kickstarter that is going to be worked into this campaign?
I know we're going to have cameos coming up. I don't know what issue it's going to be, but we're going to have, you know, people from Comic Frontline. I think it's everyone from Comic Frontline is going to have a cameo because they gave a certain amount of money. And whoever, you know, I think it was over $100. If you gave $100 and over, you get a cameo in the book. So whoever gave that amount of money is going to get a cameo in the book. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. I don't know what issue. It's also could be in the webcomic too. That'll be the cameo. So that's something from the last Kickstarter that'll be brought into the next couple of issues.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty cool backing reward. You can get either your own character, yourself, or, you know, request a character to be put in there. It can't be a copywritten character, but, you know, something like a Comic Duo, which is, you know, they're not copywritten because it's Cat.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, she could put herself in that comic book. And it was a backer who did it, so it was pretty cool. You know, I also feel to know that someone wanted to have you in the comic book. And how does Luke feel about that? Because I know Luke's a little bit of a geek too, you know. I know he's falling out of comics a little bit, but how do you two feel about actually being in a comic book? And does he trust you to write him?
I remember, I think I was like in California, like I had my cousin's wedding, so I was in California, and then I remember Rashawn messaged me and said, or maybe I think it was Courtney. Courtney messaged me and said, "Hey, you kind of need to write this comic duo story soon." So I texted Luke and I was like, "Do you want me to add anything? Like, I don't really know what to write here." And he's like, "Oh, well," and this is a story. So I kind of added in the book. So when we used to do our comic duo reviews, we used to like think we were professionals and write in a notebook our ratings. And they used to be like full out reviews, like bullet points of what we would talk about and then our rating. And then we got really lazy. We just put our rating down. And then we got really lazy. We chucked the book across the room and never used it. But Luke's like, "Oh, you should add that for something." So you will see the rating system in the webcomic at least. I couldn't really add the notebook in. It just, you know, it's only 3 pages. So I wasn't able to add it. But I was able to add the actual rating system. So that was fun. And also, Luke helped me for Special New York Comic Con. So we brought the action figures. And that was the first time he saw the Luke action figure, and he was really impressed with that. He has it, so because the backer actually wanted to give the 2 unique action figures to us, so that was very nice. So I have the cat action figure. He has the Luke action figure. I have no idea what he did with it, but he has it.
Knowing Luke, he probably has it hanging up somewhere, or you know, displayed somewhere. Yeah, I mean, I know Luke and you got a really fun relationship, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that play out on there. And I was just wondering, you know, like how he reacted to it, because I know Luke is a really fun, you know, great guy, and I know that he's going to have some comments to say about that. So I'm really waiting to see his reaction to the story itself.
Yeah, he's already had reactions about my previous stories, which I will not say on air, but he always has his fun little comments. So I'm sure he'll have a comment about this too. But they're always really great comments. When I can't even read it anymore. There's actually a Jessica scene in the first issue. My brother reads it a different way, and I literally can't read that sentence the same anymore. So I might be able to reveal that later on in different Q&As what exactly he did, but it's pretty funny.
Oh, you know you're going to reveal it. You know I'm going to get it out.
I will.
At some point
later on, I will.
Yeah, at some point during these Q&As, you're going to get those stories. Trust me.
Yes.
I work these little stories out of her all the time.
You just did. We got a big, you know, we had a couple of stories there.
Yeah. It's fun because I really love the Comic Duo stuff. And you want to know more about Comic Duo, go check out the Wikia page. There's an entry in the Comic Duo so you can see what the Comic Duo is going to be like in the universe. And that can go for all the characters too. If you want to expand your knowledge on these characters, go to a Wikia page. It's going to be expanding as the issues come out, and as more information comes out, it's going to go there. So, yeah. Tavia said he wants to do a backup story in your comic. If you could tell me how much it costs, I will do it. I'm not sure what it is right now, but I think it's up on the higher tiers. It's one of the higher tier ones.
Okay, here it is. I'm going to read some of them. That way I can just say it.
Yeah.
Just that way, like, I'm just going to read them.
Read the top tier ones from, I think it starts at $50. All
right, yeah. Yeah, let's just read them all out. That way you guys know what they are. So $50 is all the previous rewards plus an official Like Father Like Daughter t-shirt, which is their votable uniform.
Yeah, which Cat is going to wind up wearing before we get done the campaign for number 2.
I have going, somewhere.
I gotta call Cat's mom on the phone and tell her find the shirt for her.
I think my mom hid it. That's the thing. I'm looking for it. I should probably keep it in a safe place, and it ends up being in, like, me and my dad always have an inside joke about my mom trying to keep stuff in a safe place. It always ends up in the abyss. So it's in a safe place.
It's where that one sock goes in your dryer.
Mm-hmm. You never could find it again. So I'll find it, though. I promise. Hopefully. So yeah, the $100 is all the previous rewards plus being drawn as a cameo. So if Tevye, you want to be a cameo, you could get for $100. Another $100, which is not counted as the other rewards, which actually someone did purchase. Get a custom sketch cover variant of issue 2 featuring you as a character on one-of-a-kind exclusive illustrated cover by a special guest artist. So someone did back that up. 150, get a custom-made Invulnerable or Casey action figure, and I think all the previous stuff too.
I think all of them are all the previous, and then you get the additional.
Yeah. And then action figure upgrade pack, get a custom-made action figure of you as a character within the Like Father, Like Daughter universe, added with the exclusive pin-up print featuring your character with either Casey or Invulnerable. So that's pretty good. And this is where I think that Tevye wants. All the previous awards plus becoming a recurring character within a story arc that takes place in a future issue or companion comic. And you also be a special executive producer. Others?
Which that one? What was that one?
$300.
$300. So that's not that bad either, you know, because you're going to be in the actual comic book. You're going to get all that good stuff, you know, the action figure and everything like that. So that's pretty good. And
2 more. We have $500, all the previous awards, plus a starring role of your character in a 2-page story that takes place in a future issue or companion comic. So I would be writing these stories, just to say that. So I would write those stories, but you can give me notes of what you want in the story, and I'll be able to do that. And then lastly,
I believe someone did purchase that one too, right?
Yes,
they did back at that. 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be really cool. I want to see what those characters are going to be like.
I'm excited about that. And the last one, I think, you know, this is the big one, but I think what Tevye would want is more the $300 one, but $2,000, signed copy of issue 2 and companion rewards up to big reward issue number 1. Starring your own full-color 12-page story set into the Like Father, Like Daughter universe. We'll also publish the book as canon, list you credits as co-publisher, and send you a stack of comics, including 1 sketch cover variant with the original illustration by special guest artists. Custom action figure of your character, as well as a twin pack Casey Invulnerable set also included with this reward. A lot of good stuff for that. So yeah, again, I'm pretty sure I would be writing all these stories, but you would give me extensive notes of what you would want, and I would include it in that story. So
yeah. And for those people who can't afford up to the $50, what I'm gonna be right back. Kat, can you tell us the under $50 tier ones, you know, the lower tier ones? All right, I'll be right back.
So what most people will be, what I've seen is been backing up the lower tier ones, which is great. We need as many backers as possible. Right now we have 65. We are so close to $4,000. We're up to $3,974. We are so close to $4,000. And our goal is $4,500, and we have 12 days left. But the lower tiers below $50 is you could pledge $1. You'll get a special thank you issue and a digital PDF of the one-shot companions, which is pretty good, from issue 1 to introduce you to some main characters. That is awesome for $1. Number 2 is, $2 is a digital PDF of issue 1 to get you caught up with the story, as well as a digital PDF of the companion one-shot. So that is wonderful for $2. That is, one person has backed that up. $3 is a printed copy of issue 1 to get you caught up with the story. So this is an add-on from our store, because our store is closed right now as the campaign is going on. $5, which a lot of people gave 14 backers, all the previous awards, and a digital copy of Like Father, Like Daughter issue 2, which is great. So you get PDF of issue 1, and I mean, you just get a lot. You get PDF issue 1 and you get issue 2, only for $5.
Yeah.
$10 is all the previous awards and a printed copy of Like Father, Like Daughter issue 2. Your name is also included in the thank yous for issue 2. Additionally, new backers will also receive exclusive digital advice pinups. Backers and purchasers of issue 1 will receive an exclusive printed advice pinup with their reward. $20, which has 16 backers. All the previous awards, including the printed version of issue 2, signed by the author, as well as a printed version of a new companion comic with additional content. Additionally, new backers will also receive a printed copy of issue 1. Backers and purchasers of issue 1 will receive an exclusive printed new companion comic with additional content. $35. All the previous rewards plus a limited edition collector's pack with a video presentation, including a thank you shout out from Comic Uno and more surprise swag. Now we're up to the $50 one, which was their votable t-shirt. So that is all the things you could get. That is a lot. And even if you give $1, you're getting a lot of stuff. So
definitely. Like, you don't have to go to the, I know you said, you know, you have to have $500, $2,000. You don't have to get that much. Like I said, $1, $5, you get your money's worth. And for those who want to know, this is what the video quality is like. You know, you get a nice DVD cover. They even gave an insert of the original companion series, which was I dubbed the Writer Family companion issue, because you get Jessica, Casey, and Invulnerable stories in here, one-page stories. It was awesome. And, you know, you get the DVD, which has a whole bunch of cool stuff in it. You get the thank you video. You get some images that are exclusive to this, like the Invulnerable racing Flash, Superman, and Quicksilver. It was a really cool image. You know, just some original stuff like that. And, you know, it's not that bad. The quality is really good. You know, everything is really well done quality-wise. So I say, you know, if you want it, back it up for that tier, the cat right off, it's pretty cool to get that. The shirts, really great quality. They're not, like, you know, some of them, they got that material where, you know, the image starts peeling off, or, you know, it's, you know, a little tacky, you know, it's still like a little sticky. This is really well done. It's soft. It's a soft shirt. It's not, you know, like one of those rough sandpaper shirts. So all the quality, you know, everything that Short Fuse Media produces, the comic book is, you know, DC level, Marvel level printing. So everything that they do is top level quality. This isn't, you know, like people are, you know, printing this out in their, you know, in your basement. You know, it's not that cheap quality. This is a well done production that Short Fuse has done.
Yeah, stuff.
And yeah, and if you want, whatever you get from them, they do back up, you know, their stuff. They do produce quality merchandise. So that's really cool. So let's see. We covered issue number 1. We covered issue number 2. We covered some of the companion. What is the companion? Is it just going to be about comic duo? What's the companion? It's going to be about this time, and how many pages will it be?
The companion for this one, like I said, dealt with a backer's suggestion, not even suggestion, but what they wanted. So it was a comic duo story, and it's going to deal with Wes and his friend. I've heard great comments about his hair, so you'll see more of him in the companion book, so look forward to that. And yeah, it's comic duo and Wes and his friend. That's what you're going to see with the 3 pages. And that's the only companion story for issue 2, and then we'll get another one for issue 3. I don't know what that's.
Which I still say it should be the dolphin. The dolphin,
I think so,
the companion. The dolphin needs a companion story. I want his origins.
I hope I can show you. I'm going to show you something that Wayne sent me, because he actually drew something. And this is like not official anything, so he just drew it for fun. So I'm going to...
Here's Wes and his friend.
I'm going to show you that.
For those who don't have issue number 1, that's Wes and his friend right there. That's the one that everyone loves. See, there goes his long hair.
I'm going to...
While Kat's getting that up, I want to show that real fast.
Here it is. Hold on. All right. I am going to show you a picture that Wayne sent me. So this is like fan fiction stuff here, but we want this to happen if, you know, things become
This is my first time seeing this, too.
Okay. Entire screen. All right. So that's what... Eat tuna, you land lovers. So this is all Wayne's artwork. He drew the chibi version of Invulnerable and Casey, and then he also drew our favorite dolphin. So that's what we have so far.
Oh, I love that. That is just awesome. That is just the most awesome thing. I love that, Kat.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty cool. So
Wayne, you're awesome. You're just an awesome guy, Wayne. So.
Yeah, Wayne, we can't wait to have you next episode, hopefully.
Yeah, I want to really thank him when I see him again, because that is just an awesome thing. Actually, no, I'm gonna message him later after this. I want to talk how great that is. I love the chibis and I love the dolphin. That is just like perfect for me. I want that. I want that. Yeah.
All right, so Rashawn, I'm sure you're listening. Jay wants it, so we have to get this going. Once this Kickstarter is over, we're gonna like start making some chibi stuff, even more chibi stuff. We have a lot of chibis to come.
I'm telling
Yeah,
chibi plushes.
that'll be next. Right next to the action figures, we're gonna make plushes.
But yeah, let's get some more questions.
Awesome.
Tevye says he did back up with the $5 reward because that was the only one that he could do, and he was just wondering, does he need to back it up again after issue number 2 comes out? Each Kickstarter is within itself. So if you're supporting for Kickstarter number 1, that was for number 1. That one's over.
It's like
Once
you
number
go in a
2
comic book
comes,
store. Like you
yeah,
bought issue 1, but it doesn't mean you're gonna get issue 2 and 3 for the $5 or $3 you bought for issue 1.
yeah, issue number 2 is going to come out. This is the Kickstarter for issue number 2. So what you do now is for issue number 2, and wherever keep in mind anything that goes over that sales price, over that Kickstarter price, goes towards other stuff that's going to be produced. So just how there was more, it was a higher number for issue number 1 and a lower number for issue number 2. Keep that ball rolling. That's how you get more stuff and faster stuff. So
yeah, I mean it's fast quality. We're on the ball right after this Kickstarter. Me, Rashawn, Wayne, everyone at Short Fuse Media, Courtney, we're all going to be working our, excuse my language, but well, you know what, our butts off, our butts off to finish this, and we're going to get it. We want to get the comic to
chibi friendly show.
Exactly. So I have to make it chibi friendly. But yeah, we're really gonna be working hard to be getting that issue for you for November, and then hopefully issue 2 will be successful, and we'll start with issue 3, which I said gets really emotional. So pick it up. Support it. It's not even there yet, but once the Kickstarter does get published, we don't know when, but support it.
Yeah, it's they're going to have fast turnaround for this one. I know Rashawn was saying he wants to get out as soon as possible. So they learn from issue number 1. They're going producing it with the issue number 2. They're learning from issue number 2, which will be affected onto issue number 3. So each time you're getting a better, quicker process too. Yeah. And we saw some of the fantastic pencils and inks from Wayne last week. Those were just amazing. His art has grown from issue number 1 to issue number 2. He has made it more detailed, which I love, because everyone knows I love detailed art, and he's getting more detailed in there. We got to see that alternate cover that he was toying around with, the unused cover, which I still think is an awesome scene. But Tevye has another question, and his question is, he was wondering, are we going to figure out Invulnerable's origin story? Because after issue number 1 came out, he was just wondering when we are going to find out his origin story and how he got his powers. Are we going to find that out?
I can't spoil it. I can't. You're just going to have to keep on reading to find that out.
I will say this. Kat has, because I'm only going to say this because Kat has said it. This is very much a finding of an origin story. So that's what this story is about. As much as it is about Casey, it's about discovering origin. So
yeah,
that's something that Kat has already given out. So I'm not giving away any secrets or anything about that. But it is as much as it is about Casey, it's about finding your origin. It's a very deep story, I would say, because you get a lot of different facets of people. It's not 2-dimensional characters in this story, and that's really great. So I think,
which is interesting. I want to say one thing that I think is interesting about that comment is that when I got reviews for like Father Like Daughter Issue 1, a lot of people, if they had complaints, a lot of people are like, oh, like I kind of want more character development. And it's so interesting because like as you read the series, you'll like see so much character development because it was only a first issue. So you just have to introduce the premise. You have to introduce a lot of stuff. So there's not a lot of room of saying this is Stephanie's whole full story in one issue. You're going to learn throughout this whole arc who these characters are. And Jay knows the full scope of the story. So it's interesting to see people that only have the scope of the first issue and people who have the scope of the full first story arc.
I'm telling you this right now. You're going to go on a roller coaster ride with these characters. You're going to be up and down. You're going to be through the loops, everything in between. Cat is really showing you all different, that people aren't just black and white. You know, there isn't just, you know, this is how I am, this is how I wind up being. There's a whole journey that they go on, and you're going to see that in this, in these issues. And that I find is really awesome to see, because the character growth and the character journeys are so interesting in these comics. I know Toby asked a question. All right, it's about comic book companies and aging. Are you going to have your characters in a fixed timeline, you know, where like, you know, Superman would never be older than like 35 in the main universe, you know, like that's like their capstone for like them. And, you know, Peter Parker tends not to go over that age either. You know, no Marvel character does either. So no DC character. So are you going to like fix them to where they all stay in high school forever, you know, that perpetual teenager mode, or are we gonna see these characters grow over the years? Are they gonna go with us? Like, I would say more like a Savage Dragon type, where, you know, characters grow, progress, or are you gonna be in a, you know, perpetual teenager?
It's definitely not going to stay in high school. Now I'm not plotted all the way to college right now, but I definitely, because I think, you know, this is a coming of age story. So an interesting thing about coming of age and like becoming an adult is like, do I go to college? Do I not go to college? What do I want to be? Why do I have to decide when I'm 18 what I want to be? Like, you know, there's so many self-discovery things you have to ask yourself. So yeah, I mean, I want to explore those stories with these characters. So, I mean, it's not going to be like 1 year passes, they'll be in like junior year. It takes a long time to publish these books, so it's not going to happen that way. But they're going to age. They're not going to stay in high school forever. I mean, I don't think we'll be up to issue 100 and they'll still be in high school, but you never know. But yeah, they're going to be progressively getting older.
Cool. So it'll be more like how Savage Dragon does, you know, yeah, or Young Justice did with Greg Weisman, you know. Yeah. It was more like a real time frame type thing. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that the characters are going to grow. And actually, I like the perpetual, you know, age too. You know, so I like both facets of that, those concepts. But I really like seeing these teenagers grow because you get invested in this story, I think, and you really want to see where they go from that point.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some other stuff, like people are, I know Tevye has asked us before about alternate dimensions and stuff like that, you know, side stories. Now, something that we have not, and you mentioned this in, just recently, you mentioned that Invulnerable is a minor character, not minor, but, you know, his story is kind of minor in the first 2 issues, you know. Mm-hmm. Now, he's also going to be appearing in Heroes Ignited, you know. How is that different for you to write Heroes Ignited and Vulnerable from, because this is where he's, you know, full-fledged hero, you know, he's a full-fledged hero in this, where it's not, you know, dealing with his daughter, and how is that different from writing your own, you know, ongoing, like Father Like Daughter?
Well, with Heroes Ignited, I have not started writing it yet, but from what I could expect from writing it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
more action packed. You know, it's gonna deal more, you know, with like Fatherly Daughter's more drama and twists and turns. This is gonna be an action packed team up. So it's gonna be like a lot of punching and a lot of fun banter with villains, with heroes. So you're gonna expect more of that. But of course, you want to put the twist of the superhero stuff there too. So like maybe Invulnerable gets slammed into a wall and actually makes a comment about it instead of like, oh, I got to get up and, you know, throw another punch. He's going to make a comment about being thrown against the wall. So yeah, it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be more of the action-packed stuff. And I think like Fatherly Daughter has action, but it's definitely concentrate more on relationships and characters. And
yeah. Oh, there's gonna be action like Fatherly Daughter. I'm going to tell people that right now. There is gonna be action. You're gonna see action. You're gonna see action. How can I say, intrigue? There's going to be romance. There's everything that you want in a comic, comedy, all that stuff is in these issues. So it is all coming. But I know like this is more of I would say it's kind of Casey's story a little bit right now, and that's why I was wondering, you know, how you're going to approach where, you know, the focus is mainly on that you're writing. The part you're writing is going to be mainly on Invulnerable and not, you know, Casey or Stephanie or, you know, Wes even. You know, it's going to be just, you know, Invulnerable. And another question is, to based off of that, will we be seeing any of those characters in this story? Like maybe as, you know, a cameo appearance? Like could we see maybe Wes geeking out over a big fight or something?
I mean, I would say you can't have the other characters just yet because they're, you know, there's only one superhero in the world. So in the Life Fatherly Daughter universe, I wouldn't be able to have that. But in the Heroes Ignited universe, maybe I could have a cameo of Wes geeking out. So
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like, he could cameo in that book. Yeah, he could cameo in that. And also going back to your question about writing Invulnerable, it's not hard. It's not going to be hard to concentrate on him because I've already done it with the one-shots. And also, I mean, I feel like in Like Father, Like Daughter, yes, Casey is the main character, but I know everyone's voice very well, and they all have stories to tell. So it's not going to be hard to concentrate on Invulnerable, just like it wouldn't be hard just to concentrate on Jessica, or it wouldn't be hard to just have an issue about Stephanie, you know? It'd be relatively easy.
Cool. Because I'm interested in seeing the multiple sides of Invulnerable, you know? I love that. I love that, you know, he's a hero, but he's a father, and he's got so many things going on in his life. Terry has a funny question. Could you add into your comic book Invulnerable beating up Joe Quesada because of the marriages situation?
No, I cannot do that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like, you know, walking the line there. I think that would be a little bit too far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think there would be violence towards any comic publishers in any books. So
and I don't think Joe Quesada deserves that at all. So if I might disagree with something, but doesn't mean you gotta hate on him.
Yeah, you know, hey, it's selling comic books anyway. But there's a how much of the comic book do you find is affected by what's going on in comic books today? Your writing.
My writing of comics. A lot of it. You know, I mean, I guess marriages do play a part of, you know, you don't really get to see a lot of family aspects in comics. Like, it's starting to get there again, but, you know, comics have really taken away the family aspect of comics and storytelling. So that's something I obviously wanted to add. And just I feel like a lot of comics sometimes have to do with the adventure and less of like, this is what the character is going through. I've read a lot of comics recently about that, and I end up dropping those books because I'm like, oh, I mean, the action's fun, but you need to have some substance to it. So that's what I wanted with Like Father, Like Daughter is like, yeah, you have action, you have twists and turns, you have good plot, but you also have to, like, the main focus is the characters, and it's always going to be that. And yeah, that's what I want with Like Father, Like Daughter.
Yeah, I agree. You know, you always got to start there. You always have to start with the characters and then build it up. You know, that's what you always should do. That's what you should always do. You know, it's not that you're going to always do it, but I think writers should always start with the character and then go from there. Because anybody can throw a punch, but to touch it, a reader is a whole different thing. And I think that's what the story is going to wind up doing, really affect people, make them talk. You know, I think this is a great book that's going to make people talk by the end of the first arc. You'll be like, this is something we can discuss. You know, it's one of those subjects, one of those things that when we do Frontline Live, that we sit around and we're like, wow, this is something we really can talk about. And, you know, when we're discussing what we're going to talk about Frontline Live, and it's something that I think we would be able to talk about. And that's something I always love when a comic book does that. You know, like the Terry mentioned, the Invincible rape scene and all that. That made us stop and have that discussion on it. You know, and I think that's by the end of this story arc, you're going to ask yourself, stop, think, and you can talk about it. You know, that's something you're going to be able to do, and that's a great sign.
There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to say that. Like I said, I mean, this issue is definitely more of the fun. It's not as much of speculating, but I guess maybe it is. Like if I stop right there, I'm like, oh, I guess there is stuff to speculate about. It's definitely more about fun, building up the characters, building up this high school scene. But then the other issues are going to be a lot of discussion. I'm going to say that a lot of speculation, a lot of emotion. So get ready for it.
Yeah. And I said this last Q&A, but Kat's brother, Kat said that her brother at one point, after he read the script, told her they're going to hate you. And that's all I'm going to say about it. That's a little teaser, but that's the point where Kat's writing goes. It goes into all different directions, which is a great sign. You can evoke emotions out of people. Yeah, he had that emotion. I was like, damn, you know, that was great. You know, that's great. He was like, they're going to hate you. So it's like different emotions are going to be reflected upon the reader.
There's a big point in the end. That is
how does it feel to get those different reactions though? Like, you know, because you got your brother who's like, people are going to hate you. And you got me saying people want to love it. So like, how does it feel like just getting those different reactions from people who have read the whole thing?
I can't wait for people. I just can't wait for other people to read the whole thing too. Because I think, again, like people are just seeing such a tiny scope of the story, but there's so much to tell. And it just like, I'm itching to tell you everything, but I can't. Because then you guys won't buy it. And then you guys like, oh, you spoiled everything. Because I'm not going to do that. Because I want to see your reactions. But I will say by the end of this arc, this like Father Like Daughter universe will not be the same. It just won't be. So look forward to that.
You also got some support from creators throughout the first campaign and the second campaign. All right, while Kat's doing that,
sorry about that.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. You've had some creators lend their support. They're with their money, with tweets about it. You know, how does that feel that people that you've admired and read have supported you in either way? You know, whether it's monetary support or, you know, just, you know, a tweet saying congratulations and stuff like that. How does that feel?
It's been crazy. It's really great. You know, people that you look up to either like the stuff you're doing or at least appreciate the stuff you're doing. It's really cool to be kind of noticed on that level. But even just like fans, just like people that view my videos, it's really amazing that people are enjoying it. But also, I do like the comments where people tell the full truth. They're not just like, oh, I really liked it. They say, this is stuff I really liked. This is stuff I really didn't like. So I get to see the full scope of, you know, everyone's opinions. So that's something I enjoy also.
Yeah, and I did give, when I did my review, I did point out, you know, some things I thought could have been improved on. So, like, it wasn't, you know, a gush piece. It didn't get, like, 5 stars, rate, you know, always perfect. And I told Kat before I read the issue, I told her that because, you know, I did not know anything about the story going into it. If it was a really bad book, which, you know, it could have been, but thankfully it wasn't, I probably wouldn't review it, but I would give her my honest opinion in private. You know, and I told her that either way, I'm going to give my honest opinion on the review, you know, that's how I was going to go. You know, I didn't want to slam her book if it was a bad book, you know, because I read some really bad books and I slammed them. And I wouldn't do that to Kat because she is a friend. But I also told her that I'm going to give my full, complete, honest opinion. Unadulterated, you know, friend or no friend, I'm going to give my honest opinion. And that's what it was in my review. It was completely honest. I love the touches that you had with that. Like, she definitely writes as a comic book fan, but also as, you know, a comic book writer. So that's the best of both worlds when a comic book writer does that. Like, that's why I think I like so much about Jeff Johns and Joss Whedon, is that they are fans, but they're also writers, and that's the kind of writer that you are. You're the fan writer, so I really love that. You know, it's not fanficish. It's not you know, oh, I think I know what I'm doing. And it's not oh, you know, this is what I think people want to read. It's very much in that Jeff Johns, Joss Whedon, you know, fan writer type thing, which is, you know, what I always love to read.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, much appreciated on that.
We're getting to the hour mark, so I want to get more people to ask some questions. So start asking more questions, comments too. You know, if you read number 1, let me know what you think about it. Let us know what you think about number 1,
Yeah.
and what you want from number 2 also. Terry has a question right now. This question, I'm just wondering, why does all right, so I think we already touched on this about the family aspect. So we already touched on that, Terry. But he also says about, you know, they took away family aspects and it hurts him. I think what your comic book does is bring that back, but you also bring multiple facets of it. Like you said about relationships. That applies to, you know, other kind of relationships too. You have multiple relationships in your book, like Stephanie and Casey, and then you got how they bring in Wes. And how do they bring in Wes? Can you give us a little bit about how Wes is brought in for this issue?
Yeah. Well, with the ending of issue 1, we saw that Casey's like, I'm really stumped. I don't really know what to do with these powers, because she has the heroic nature. You could tell. She's like, oh, you know, it's cool. Like, but she doesn't want to admit it because that's the whole reason her father left. So she's like really in this moment is like, oh, I don't really know what to do. You know, I'm not gonna become a superhero or anything, but you know, it's kind of cool. I kind of want to see what's going on with this. And then I feel like she kind of makes an excuse for herself where she's like, oh, you know, I got to find out where I got these powers, you know, because she wants to keep discovering more, but at the same time doesn't want to make that giant leap of, yeah, I'm going to become a superhero, because of course she's not going to become a superhero, but she also wants to do stuff appropriately with her powers. So Stephanie's like, all right, let's ask the, you know, the walking superhuman, no, that's not it. It's the walking superhero Wikipedia. Let's ask Wes. So in the first issue, you're gonna, I think it's like the 3rd page. It's the 3rd page because you get to see it in the preview. I don't think you can read the word bubbles, but you see in the preview on the Kickstarter where you get to see, you know, Wes is in his locker, closes the door, and Casey's like, what's up? Gotta ask you a question. And she's kind of rude about it. So they have a really fun discussion with each other, and yeah, that's things lead different places where you got to read issue 2 to find out what Casey tells Wes, what she doesn't tell Wes, what Wes finds out, what he doesn't find out. So got to read issue 2 for that.
Yeah, it's also like the formation of the new Scooby Gang for like Firelight Daughter. So I know it's a Buffy term, but I always like to refer to like these type of cliques as the Scooby Gang. So it's like the formation of that. I just love their chemistry between each other. They got the perfect chemistry. They all get each other's humor, even though they're all different people and different aspects of personalities. They all get each other in a great way.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing I really love about it too, is that I think they're all very sarcastic in their own way. You know, Casey's a little bit abrupt about everything. She's a very abrupt person. Stephanie is just kind of like, not stupid, but she's a little bit of this kind of ditzy humor. And then Wes is a bit on the really sarcastic, hey, I'm clever side. So, but it all kind of combines into one and makes a pretty interesting friendship. which I could say they have a friendship. I think it's pretty obvious.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely can tell that. Plus, you know, it was all the promo work for the three of them are all together, so there's the promo work there. But speaking of promo work and stuff like that, you had something that Short Fuse passed on to us to show. Even though Rashawn couldn't make it, he did give us some content for us to show. And I want Kat to show that right now. So we're going to show that.
Right.
And remember, ask some questions in the comments. Ask some more questions about Like Father, Like Daughter.
Yes. So we are going to show you a pinup that you will be receiving if you give a certain amount, or it's just a pinup that you can get and hang up on your wall if you really like Father, Like Daughter.
It's going to be on my wall.
It's going to be like a Like Father, Like Daughter total wall by the end. Okay, here we go. Do you see it? Hold on.
Yeah, it's cool.
So,
Invulnerable, tearing up the street, running down it. I love that.
yeah, so you could, this is not by Wayne A. Brown. Let me get the artist names. Oh, no, I can't because then you're going to see it all. So anyways, that's the pinup. So yeah, there you go. I'll give it a couple more seconds so you could look at it. It's cool. It's him like just destroying the streets, running really fast. I really like his hair there. So very cool. That's
yeah, he's got to look like he's going to be kicking some butt.
Yes.
As we said, that we had to say, because you know this is a chibi-friendly show.
It is.
And last week we got to see the chibi pinup too.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty awesome. You know, it had the chibi pinup had what? Invulnerable, Casey, Stephanie, Wes, comic duo. It had all of them in there, and I thought it was a really cool pinup. So, so far you saw two pinups. One was the chibi, I don't think was colored yet. It was just still in black and white stages. Yeah. So you got to see that, and you got the colored version of the Invulnerable pinup. So those are pretty cool pinups, and they're going to be joined by Last Amber Press stuff. The only thing that would never move is Comic Frontline and Superman. So I had to rearrange stuff and put up some, you know, like Father, Like Daughter, more stuff, and you know, the comic book will stay too. The Shield one. So, Tevye said that Invulnerable looks evil in that one. I don't think he looks pure evil. I think he looks very determined, like he's about to go into something big. That's what I think.
I think so too. I don't think he looks evil. But maybe he is evil. We don't know. Read the book.
That's a good question, because I mean, he did leave his daughter. You know, he did leave his family. But he's a superhero. A superhero doesn't do that. So it's like complex. That's what I meant by there's such rich characters in this. This isn't something you see in everyday comic books. You know, you don't see someone who is, you know, kind of douchey, but still really good. You know, he's a good guy because he wants to do the right thing.
Like Constantine, you know?
The wrong way. Yeah, like he goes about it the wrong way.
See, Invulnerable is just like not a great guy at all, but he's trying to do the good thing all the time.
Yeah. So. Well, but he is a good guy also, because he does, you know, he does it at the end of the day to save the day, but he does it in a way that's very much him. It's very flawed. You know, they're not perfect people, and that's what I like about it. You know, they're not that perfect every day. You know, it's not as much as I do love, you know, a good Boy Scout. You know, because I do love Superman, I do love Shazam, I do love.
Wes could be your Boy Scout, okay? But yeah, they have the white picket fence, but they are far from perfect. That's why another reason I referenced Death of a Salesman.
I do love the multifaceted characters too. So you know, even though I do like the Boy Scouts, I do like, you know, the multifaceted characters. Yeah. So I do like that. You know, he's a complex character. He's not just black and white.
He's very complex.
Tevye says, I'm going to make this more general. So, is your comic inspired by any other comics that you've read in the past? Because I know you got a broad range of comic books that you like. So,
yeah.
Have you been inspired by anything? I
think unconsciously, you know, of course, yeah. I'm inspired by all the books I read. And I think that's the best way to answer it. I remember when I wrote a screenplay of this, you had to like reference, oh, you know, what is this kind of like? And I said kind of like Clueless and Kick-Ass combined. And I think that's kind of the world you can explain. And obviously that's the best I can explain it because it's such a different world. But Clueless because you know, Casey, I feel like is that main character, Alyssa Silverstone, yeah. Her character where she's not mean, but she's popular and it's like kind of that aspect of it. And then Kick-Ass because like kind of makes fun of the superhero genre, and that's why I put it there. But yeah, that's the best way. And I guess a little bit of Spider-Girl, of course. I'm sure I'm inspired by that bit. And also, I always said Bionic Woman in the $6 million Man because of their powers. Like, you know, they're not that strong, but they're strong enough, you know? So that's, I would say I was kind of inspired by that too.
Which is, you know, all great stuff. I mean, I know Kat's likes and stuff. I also saw a little bit of the, and this was visually, and I know for issue number 1, you didn't work as close with Wayne on issue number 1, but like that scene where Casey gets hit by the car reminds me so much of Linda Danvers' Supergirl. Yeah. Like that scene just really made me think of it, and I know you didn't really get to, you know, work that much with Wayne on issue number 1 for the visual. So like that was even something that came out, like, you know, I loved how that came out because it made me as a Supergirl fan be like, wow, she really touched on that. That's what I meant by you're a fan writer. You know, you write as a comic book fan, but you also write as a writer because that had nothing to do with Supergirl, the book. You know, that was a totally different situation. Everything was different in that issue, but it gave you that that it invoked those memories of Supergirl for me. So it wasn't intentional because, you know, like I said again, it has nothing to do with the Supergirl issue. You know, it wasn't a spin on her or anything like that. But it gave me that sense of you know, belonging to that book. You know, so I loved that. I loved how, you know, you invoked those feelings about it, but you were totally original with it. So it was like awesome for me to see. It was a little geek out moment. I had a little West moment. That's what I'm gonna call my geek out moments from like daughter. I'm gonna call them geek West moments because that's what it's a lot better than saying geek. So they're my West moments.
West moments, I love it. I think any time you geek out, it should be West moments.
So Tibby also asked. He added to that question, and he wants to know, are you afraid that your comic may fall into any of the standard traps that, you know, you see in comic books today? Like, you know, like Ultimate Universe started out very original, and then it became like to the point where we would like to see it go.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not. You know, that's a hope. Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. I'm gonna try my best not to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see that happening personally because, like I said, I read the first story arc and she keeps evolving the characters, and I think that's how Kat is. Because Kat, if you know Kat from her reviews, which she does great reviews, go check them out on this channel and on Comic Frontline. But she does, and you're welcome. She loves character growth and character development and how it could progress. And I think that, you know, she can really do that. So I think if you know how Kat is and what she expects for comic books, you're going to definitely see them in here.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look at like some of my favorite characters, like Cordelia from Buffy/Angel, who I believe is one of the most developed characters on television. You're going to see a lot of that in this comic. I mean, I was even talking to Jay, like what I want to see after the arc, so he even knows there's a lot more to come.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more to come. Like I know something beyond this sort of arc, but I know it's already like done, basically. You know, I know the story arc. I know the overall theme of it. I know some of the ideas that she has thrown around, which I love them all. I told her, you know, I love them all. I sent her, you know, my geek out thoughts, my West thoughts on it. So, I mean, I just love everything that she's doing with it. And that's not just as a fan. That's just, I mean, as a friend. That's as a fan of the series. I'm actually like a fan. So I'm, you know, really enjoying it as both sides. Even when she offered me to read it, I was like a little hesitant. I was like, I want to be surprised, and I'm going to still be surprised because, you know, it's going from screenplay to comic book. Yeah. Like I read the first issue, and the screenplay is a little bit different, but it still got the same vibe from it. So, like, I'm going to be surprised with the issues. So I'm really excited about that. What else can you tell us about this issue number 2?
I mean, I can't really say more, or else I would like spoil the whole book. But yeah, just know it's high school. It's invulnerable, a little bit dash of invulnerable. There's a big cliffhanger in the end. For me, it's like not even a cliffhanger at this point, because as the writer, I know what happens in the end, obviously. So this thing that happens in the end plays off throughout the whole arc. So it's like, oh, just another aspect of the story. So I think you'll be shocked by the cliffhanger, but I'm personally not shocked because I play with it a lot throughout the story. I think that's the best way to dance around that. So look forward to the cliffhanger.
We had a sort of longer cliffhanger for the last issue when we had Jim write that letter to his daughter. How does this cliffhanger compare to that one?
It's I think you learn more about Invulnerable with that cliffhanger. You're like, it's a cliffhanger where you're a little shocked because I was holding information from you, which you'll be seeing a lot throughout this book. I'm holding a lot of information from you guys. So
oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this cliffhanger is more of a revelation cliffhanger. So yeah, not a revelation of the story, but it's a revelation even within the characters have a revelation. So it's that. I think that's the two differences of these cliffhangers.
I just wanted to do an update on the Kickstarter before we start wrapping up. There are 65 backers right now with $3,974 out of the $4,500 goal, and 12 days to go. So, go there, check out some of the rewards. Like I said, very basic rewards. $5 get you a lot of stuff. Even the $1 and the $2 ones give you a lot of stuff. Really go check it out. It's something that you really can get your money's worth for. And again, all quality stuff. Short Fuse Media produces some of the best quality stuff that I've seen from a really small independent company. This isn't Image independent. This is a real, true independent company right here. And so you should always go support the indie books too.
We're the real indie books.
Yeah. And yeah, the scene the cat said is on the second page actually.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Well, because we had
second and third page. The second and third page has Wes in it.
Awesome. So you got your, yeah, I think maybe they didn't include because I feel like there's 2 pages of the invulnerable thing, but maybe it was just 1. So yeah, so it's the second page. So it's pretty early in the issue. But yeah, again, it's just a lot of fun, this issue. If you want more chemistry between characters, you want more character development, you're getting a lot of that here.
And also, there are some lock goals that are the stretch goals that are locked. If you want to know what those are, you have to back it so we can get to that point where they can start revealing them. So I know some of them, and there's some really cool stuff coming up. Like, I'm looking forward to everything that's coming out for here. So I'm going to ask you another question before we wrap up this, because we're almost at the hour-and-a-half mark. If I'm someone new to the Like Father Like Daughter comic book, okay, I don't know anything about it. I didn't read number 1. Why should I back up number 2?
Well, you should back up issue 2 because you get to read issue 1. So I think that is the biggest aspect because what is it, like, again, $5 I think you get issue 1 and 2. So that's 100% why you should back up issue 2. Short Fuse Media makes it really easy for new readers to jump onto this. And I'm sure we'll do the same thing with issue 3, issue 4, and as we go along. So yeah, we just want to make the fan base bigger. And I won't say better because I think the fan base is already awesome. So I just want to say to make the fan base bigger. And yeah, so that's we want new readers to read Like Father Like Daughter. That is definitely the big point of doing the Kickstarter for issue 2, and including those goals and those gifts.
Yeah, and if you do already have issue number 1, you're gonna get other stuff too. So like don't feel like oh, well, you know, it's only catering to the new reader. It's not. It's catering to both, and I love that. Another thing I want to ask is, with the conclusion of this Kickstarter, right? What are you going to do after it gets funded? Like, what are you going to do for, you know, all right, say if I miss out on this, I didn't back up this one. How am I going to get issue number 2 afterwards? Like, where are you going to be promoting this? Where are you going to be selling it? Stuff like that.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to have a JSTOR for issue 2, issue 1. We'll still have our JSTOR, so we'll just include issue 2 there. So online, you'll have an opportunity to buy issue 2. We really want to fast track the issue 3 Kickstarter. So once issue 2 is done, people get to read it. We're going to hopefully do issue 3, the Kickstarter for that. So you'll have an opportunity probably to buy issue 2 and issue 1 there. And yeah, we're trying to fast track everything. That way you guys get to read the story. You guys get excited about the story. You spread the word. That's important. Right now, I'm in my senior year of college, so I can't do as much of the convention stuff. So maybe, you know, after this year, I'll be able to do more conventions and, you know, promote the book around town, you know, around places. So that's something I guess you can look forward to if the book becomes popular enough. So I'll be being in a town by you. So maybe that's something you can look forward to. But that's like kind of in the long run of things. So yeah, support the book.
Kat's comic book store actually let her put some comic books on their shelves, which I thought was pretty cool of them to do. And she signed them, which is really cool for her to do. You know, a signed book for
it's $3. Yeah,
$3. Yeah, so I think that's a really cool thing. You know, normally comic book shops, they put them up and they're like, oh, you know, signs will up the price. It's still only a $3 book, and I thought that was awesome. So
yeah, gotta thank Jim Hanley's Universe for that. Jim Hanley's comic books. So thank you.
Yeah, and if you want to see like Probably Like Daughter in more stores and in more online outlets, write to those outlets, you know, let them know, you know, like let a Comixology know that you want to see like Probably Like Daughter on Comixology. You know, let those digital outlets know. Maybe they can work with Short Fuse Media and get that done.
Yeah, or even your comic book stores, whatever. Like, there's, I mean, a good example of that is Jeremy. He's still not really able to do the Kickstarter just because it's hard for him to give online. So he rearranged with his comic book store for me to send comics and for, you know, him and his comic book store owner for us to talk about what prices we have to do. And I was able to give Corey and Jeremy the book that way. And we're going to do the same way with issue 2. So when you tell your comic book store you want it, I could talk to your comic book store owner and maybe get, you know, comics there on those shelves, which obviously helps the book a lot too. And I am 100% willing to do that.
Yeah, so if you're a good, you know, I know a lot of people who talk to their comic book shop, pretty much like they do their best friends. You know, if you're, you know, talk to them, get them, you know, say, hey, there's this comic book, get them Kat's, get them Short Fuse Media's contact information, or, you know, Kat's YouTube channel. She has contact information on there. They can, you know, tweet her or whatever, let her know. She can work it out. You can buy it in your store. How cool would that be? You can say, you know, hey, I know that writer. Yeah. So we have a final question from Teddy. It says, question, is your comic going to do stupid renumber anything like Marvel DC does a lot, and because he's sick of that? So are you going to, like, after this first story arc, are you going to go back to number 1 issue, or are you going to continue with the numbering?
I'm going to say if we do renumber this series at all, it would be for a reason. That's what I'm going to say. Not just for, like, money reason. I'm saying it's going to be for a story reason. Yeah.
It'll be like a maybe like a New 52 type thing, not like an all-new Marvel Now thing, where, you know, it was a, complete restructuring thing type thing. I can see that maybe happening. Or it's not going to be like, oh, we want to get a gimmick, so we're going to do a number 1.
Yeah,
we're
that's not going to happen.
Issues, and we're going to do a number 1. You know, it's not like that. What Cat means, it'll be something major reason why. It won't be, you know, some little marketing gimmick. Yeah. So, Kat, as the final question for me before I turn it back over to you, I want to know. Actually, I want to know two things. Because one, I want to know how much do I have to pay you to get that print from Wayne Brown.
You gotta ask Wayne. You gotta ask Wayne.
Okay, I'm going to do that too. So Wayne, I'm messaging you tonight. And two is, what do you want to say to get people to go and back up, like I like your number 2? What's your final thoughts on your final pitch?
You know, this Kickstarter is really close. It's really close to being funded, and you will not get the book unless it is funded. So even if you gave money and we're up to $4,455 by the end, you're not going to get the book. So you're only going to get the book if we make up to $4,500. So hopefully we will. You know, that's our hope. We're $500 away, and we have 12 days left. So yeah, you know, buy the books. I think obviously it helps an indie creator. I think you'll enjoy the story. And it just, if you support the book, even if it's over the Kickstarter amount, hopefully it will be, it gives us that closer to get to issue 3, to prove to Short Views Media, to prove to everybody that Like Father, Like Daughter, you know, has a lot of fans, and, you know, has people that want to read it. That's really what we got to show. So, yeah, it's kind of my final thoughts.
And I just wanted to add to that, how Kickstarter works. If it doesn't get fully funded, you do not get charged. Like,
yeah.
You know, to refuse me will not hold your money. You know, you only get charged if the Kickstarter is fully funded. So don't think, you know, like, oh, it gets $4,440.
But then you won't get your prizes either.
Yeah, you won't get anything, but they won't take any money out. The book won't be published, but you also won't be charged for it. You know, because I know a lot of people are, you know, nervous when you get the Kickstarters because they're afraid that, you know, they're going to take your money and you're not going to get anything. You only get charged if and when it is fully funded. So be sure of that.
Hopefully,
and
it will be.
and with that, I want to turn it back over to Kat so she can send us out.
Yeah, so thank you guys. I'm guessing we'll probably do the next Kickstarter same time, Monday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. Seems like it works out for us. So we're going to do that. And that's our last Q&A for the Kickstarter. So we are getting extremely close to the end. So hopefully you guys can support, you know, the Kickstarter. Hopefully by then it will have reached its goal.
Maybe we can have a celebration.
I'm hoping it'll be a celebration Kickstarter. Then, you know, we're only $500 away. I really hope it could be a celebration Kickstarter. So if you guys have not spread the word, please spread the word about the Kickstarter. It helps us. And I want to, tweet it, everything. Tumblr, anything you want. LinkedIn, I don't care. Just share it. So thank you guys. And hopefully you enjoy issue 2 when issue 2 is released and funded.
I just want to say one thing, because I always want to take this from Manos, Real Manos, who's a great character. Kat, hit the button.
I will. Bye, guys.